This is the Simpit Driving School. I'm your instructor for the day, Sean Cole, and today we're here for another episode of Attack the Track, the show that is dedicated to breaking down a track map, figuring out where the high-speed sections are, figuring out where to put your car, and why at all times. Today's Attack the Track features Circuit of the Americas, which many people will refer to as COTA, is a 3.427 mile or 5.5 kilometer long road circuit that was built in the heart of Texas in 2012, with its very first event being the US Grand Prix. COTA is made up of 20 different turns along with a few small straights and 2 monster-sized straights that will stretch the legs of any car on Earth. It is very much a modern Formula One type venue with plenty of runoff room with little chance of catastrophic failures. It has modern seating and visual elements marking its era. COTA also has lots of elevation change and moments that will test the car's balance and the driver's control. It also has a few very fast corners that tempt you to use massive downforce, but straightaways so long that that choice will cost you plenty of time. There are multiple lines through many of its wide corners, and different setups will have drastically different speeds on different sections of the track. A flying lap at Circuit of the Americas begins as we go down the front stretch at top speeds. Ahead, a monstrous climb towards turn 1. Because of the elevation change, we can minimize our braking and let gravity do some of the work. Turn 1 is a very sharp and slow left-hand turn that is very important as it leads into a full throttle section up ahead. It is also a dangerous corner as drivers transfer from climbing on entry to dropping on exit, making the car very loose coming off of the corner. Turn 1 has a very wide entry, and drivers setting this corner up from far wide will tempt others to try to pass on the inside. Turn 1 has a very late apex, but the inside curbing will unsettle the car, making the corner even more difficult. With a good run out of 1, we are flying down the hill as we head into turn 2. A very fast, full throttle right-hander that is slightly cambered to the inside as we start to climb in elevation slightly again. A wide approach and a tight late apex sets up the S's up ahead. Coming into the S's, your driving line is critical and will affect the speed carried through. Turn 3, the left-hander can usually be taken at full speed, but your line must be perfect because turn 4 comes right away to the right. When things go right, we can power through turn 4 as well, going right. It doesn't require as much wheel input as it does hitting the line correctly, but if off by even the slightest bit, you will have to back out or find yourself in much bigger trouble. Coming off of turn 4, you can start to reduce the throttle anyways, allowing the car to start dropping speed. Turn 5 comes very quickly as well, and it is much sharper than the corners before it. This left-hander is a setup corner, and our focus should be more on car placement than trying to be quick. We must make sure that we complete the turn and set up turn 6, which is worth so much more time. We came into turn 5 off the gas and must get the car over to the left exiting the corner. Turn 6 is a long, medium-speed right-hand corner, and if set up from turn 5 well, you can enter the corner hard on the gas accelerating and taking a late entry into the corner. The corner does its best to push you out wide, but we shoot for a late apex. It might require a little throttle reduction to let the car turn in at the end, but getting wide to the right side out of turn 6 is our goal. Turn 7 is a quick left-hander that can be taken at very high speed. Depending on how fast we left turn 6 will affect how much we have to control our speed for turn 7. In most cases, a slight reduction in throttle will be enough. Kiss the curbing on the left and we are on our way towards 8. Turn 8 is a right-hander that heads uphill. Our main job with this corner is to set up turn 9, which is much more important. The entry of the corner can be very hard to find, and drivers will often find themselves running over the right-hand curbing. The best line is a late entry and apex and getting the car far over to the right side of the track. Drivers are tempted to go much faster here, but that only makes turn 9 much harder to hit right. Turn 9 is a nasty left-hander. The corner is not actually very sharp, but the car's balance is a little upset here from going up the hill. The corner can be taken very fast, but the inside curbing must be avoided. and despite the speed the car can get through turn 9, it is very slippery both on the track and out on the runoff curbing. But this corner sends us down the hill carrying lots of speed, and getting through it clean and fast will be critical to lap times. Turn 10 is a kink to the left that can be taken flat out. You do want to control your car enough through this corner to come out wide to the right, setting up the very important turn 11. Turn 11 is the most important corner on the track. This sharp corner turns us back towards the front of the track and sends us on to the longest straightaway on the circuit. Turn 11 has a wide entry, and the corner can be a bit difficult to see into. We want a late apex in order to make the straight even longer. This is also a danger corner because the corner can be a bit slick as drivers are trying to get back on the gas hard. The runoff on the outside can be used, but can send you around as well if too much gas is used. Also, the inside curbing will upset the car and make it that much harder to get back on the gas. This sends us down the backstretch, which is a very long straight that will push your car to its maximum speeds. At the end of this straight, we find turn 12. This is our heaviest braking zone on the circuit as we set up for this tight left-hand turn. Turn 12 is a danger corner for several reasons. Entering the corner under braking is one of the best passing zones on the track. That makes this corner more difficult if defending or attacking. Also, coming off of turn 12, there's a slight bump or drop off that makes the car get very light, and many drivers will spin it here with too much gas or steering input. Turns 13 and 14 come almost as a pair. They are two right-hand turns in a row that you really never have time to go straight between them. Turn 13 sets up 14, so the line is more important than the speed. A slight check of the brake, a late apex to set up turn 14. The runoff area to the left can be a bit slick and should be avoided. But when all goes well, we can bring on a gentle amount of throttle as we guide our car through turn 14. We can cut the curbing on the right because coming out of turn 14, getting back to the far right helps us for turn 15 up ahead. Turn 15 comes at us quickly, and we likely never stop steering out of 14. 15 is a danger corner, and many drivers make mistakes here. It is a left-hand turn that has a very, very late apex. The corner is almost taken in two parts, with the entry being pretty straightforward as you control the steering and drive through the slick conditions in this section. On entry, we need to check our speed slightly with a hint of braking as we turn to the left, but we need to stay wide through the entry to make the very late apex ahead. The real turn 15 comes in the second part, and you'll need a little more braking to make the corner. But it's very easy to give too much brake and spin the car. The inside curbing is small, but it will unsettle the car so it can only be touched lightly. The runoff to the outside looks nice, but can also be problematic. The best line is to avoid the curbing on both sides and get the car straightened out as quick as possible. Turn 16 starts the next section of corners that almost come as one. Turns 16, 17, and 18 are three fast right-handers, one after another, that we never straighten out between them. You can scream into turn 16 at a pretty good speed, and with a slight reduction of the gas, the car finds its grip and makes the apex with ease. You then drift outwards, setting up turn 17 that we're already in. Finding a balanced throttle will help the car track, and once grip is found, you can use a combination of throttle and steering to guide the car all the way through 17 and 18, making sure to come out on the right-hand side of the road, even cutting the curbing to the inside. If you start to drift wide, reduce the gas until you gain traction and then get back on the gas. And if you find yourself too far to the inside, then you probably could have gone a bit faster through the corners. Turn 19 is a medium-speed left-hand turn. It is a fast corner, and it can be a bit dangerous due to its speed and change of elevation that creates a loose rear end of the car. It only requires a slight amount of braking, but the car always wants to slide or get a little loose, and you have to tread a little lightly. It is also easy to overshoot this corner to the outside, and it will require you to save the car over looking for top speed. Turn 20 is the final corner of the track, and it is likely the second most important. It leads onto a very long front stretch and will affect your overall lap times. The corner is also sharp and happens very quickly. We carried a good amount of speed into this corner and we'll have to do a fair amount of braking for the turn. The inside curbing is very high and it can be kissed, but not hit heavily or it'll spin out the car. The outside runoff here is very slippery, and if you find yourself too far out wide, you're going to have to be gentle to get back on the gas. But the corner is actually fairly easy, and when hit correctly, allows for a great run towards the start-finish line. And that completes a lap of Circuit of the Americas, and you can see from our tour that it is a very difficult track to drive. Now, there are at least 7 different sections that I would declare danger sections, or areas that can be the cause of a spin or a major time mistake. And that's a lot of corners to have to be careful on in just one lap. Now, another thing that makes COTA somewhat unique and tough to race is its very wide entries into the corners. There are so many different driving lines, so many different setup combinations that are going to benefit at different parts of the track, and that really mixes things up during the race. And when you're defending or attacking, it's going to take you off the driving line, making it that much more difficult. Now, it's also easy to identify some very important corners when it comes to speed. Setup corners and the speed corners that are going to be critical to lap times. Turns 1, 11, and 20 are all such corners, and 2 of the 3 are tough corners to get perfect. And with a total of 20 corners and nearly 3.5 miles long, it does show you why Circuit of the Americas is very difficult to get just right. So I hope this tour has helped you drive Circuit of the Americas a little bit better. Perhaps you have a different approach to certain corners or different ways of handling certain sections, and I hope you'll go ahead and put those in the comments with this video, or even better, at the Simpit, so everybody can benefit from them. And that's where you're going to find other videos like this one for other tracks and other training videos as well. Now, in closing, I'm going to go ahead and play a full lap of Circuit of the Americas so that you can enjoy it both sight and sound. This is the Simpit Driving School. I'm your instructor, Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.